Welcome to Both And with Bessi Graham, your weekly inspiration to help you use your time, talent, and treasure to make a bigger difference in the lives of others. I'm your host, Bessi Graham, award-winning entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience from the grassroots to the hallowed halls. Thanks for joining me. Let's jump in. This is the second in a three-part series where I'm unpacking what a both and mindset requires of you in practice. My intent with these 3 episodes is to make the concept of both and more concrete for you and help you bring into your everyday practice the skills, routines, and rituals that will unlock the outcomes you are seeking. Just to reset the context for you, the 3 aspects that I believe a both and mindset requires you to cultivate are, firstly, a foundational understanding and acceptance of yourself, cultivated through the practice of looking back. Secondly, an ability to read the room or situation through cultivating the practice of looking around. And thirdly, the discipline to anticipate and run scenarios through the practice of looking ahead. In today's episode, we're focusing on the second step of looking around. This ability to read the room or the situation is such an important step for us as leaders, as business owners, entrepreneurs, or in any setting where we seek to both have an impact and influence those around us. The other important part of this second step in looking around is that it begins to shift from our foundational understanding and awareness or focus on ourselves and what we want, and it opens us up to being more conscious and aware of those around us and our impact on them. All of my work focuses on established leaders who are seeking to contribute and make a difference in the world. This second step has to occur in order for you to move towards a clear vision of your legacy and what you want to be part of in the world. Without beginning to look around, you risk getting stuck only focusing on yourself or having goals that only seek to benefit you. I know that is not something that you want in your life. So today we will begin to pull apart the ways you can look around to shape and broaden your approach to the world and begin to lift your vision towards how you contribute in a way that brings in what you've learnt about yourself from looking back and gives it more meaning and purpose by allowing it to take shape within a context informed by looking around. From the perspective of creating positive impact in the world, it's always important to look at the context that we find ourselves operating in. Business setting or looking at operating environment, the business model environment, aspects like key trends, market forces, industry forces, or macroeconomic forces are all pieces people use when looking at that environment or the context from a business perspective. You know how to look at those factors already, so I'm not going to go into those. You're someone who is wanting to contribute and make a difference by putting your time, talent, and treasure to work in the world in a way that is both fulfilling for you and has a positive impact on the world. So how do you do that? I'm going to suggest 3 steps you can take to inform your practice of looking around. Firstly, what do you care about contributing to in a positive way through your efforts? You can think about this either positively in terms of what you're drawn to, or what you're fighting against in the sense of an injustice you want to correct. Secondly, what do you have control over or decision-making rights over that provides you with a lever to pull to influence this issue or area? And thirdly, do you already have the skills, experience, and resources to contribute? If not, who else do you need, or what do you need to learn or acquire in order to contribute in the ways you want to? Let's use those 3 steps now to reflect on and unpack a little to help inform your thinking. With the first step, I don't want you to feel you need to go into too much detail yet. As in our next episode, when we focus on looking ahead, we will dive more fully into the legacy you want to create. For today, I want you to aim for a first rough sketch. So the first question is, what do you care about contributing to in a positive way through your efforts? Again, you can look at this either from the things you are positively drawn to, or those things you're fighting against in a sense of injustice that you want to correct. Think of some of the ideas or patterns that came up for you in the previous episode when we were looking back. If you're more drawn to the positive side of what you want to be part of in the world, it may be that your explorations of the times when you were in flow hold some clues for you. If what comes to mind are the things you're fighting against or the aspects of injustice that really get you mad, then there may be hints in your moments of anti-flow that start to be useful here. So, can you answer in a broad sense what it is you want to be part of in the world? I'm not asking you to wordsmith or commit to it yet, simply to articulate a rough sketch of an idea. I want you to do a sense check now and think back through your life and work and the ways in which you have spent your time, talent, and treasure so far. Can you see reflected back to you this issue, topic, or theme? Even if it's not as clearly there as you'd like it to be, when you think of what it will look like moving forward, is there some logical consistency to what you're naming as the area you see yourself making a difference in and leaving the world better than you found it? As I always remind you, there is no right or wrong answer here. There aren't some areas that are more important than others. We're seeking alignment and fulfillment for you, and the shape that takes will be different for you than it is for me. A life well lived doesn't take one form. Now we're going to move into the really important second step of asking, what do you have control or decision-making rights over that provides you with a lever to pull to influence this issue or area? For those of you who are business owners, this is where you look at your business model and the areas where you spend the most money and see if there are ways that you could be behaving or making decisions differently in order to start to more intentionally contribute to the issue or area you care about. It is important to look inside your business itself, rather than simply seeing the business as a tool to make money to then donate to a cause. I want you to ask yourself how you could integrate doing good into your core business. Could you change your hiring practices, your leave entitlements, the conditions of your workers? Could you change your bank or financial institutions to ones that align more with issues you care about or that are more closely connected to the community you work in? Are there areas of your supply chain that you have turned a blind eye to because you wanted to reduce costs but not feel guilty about, So you avoided asking questions or seeking assurances about the fair pay or conditions of those producing the materials you use. Are there other areas where you are treating as externalities the negative impacts that you are creating, either directly or indirectly, through the decisions you make and the way you operate your business? Just as you are multidimensional and nuanced, so is your business. I don't want you as an individual to be one-dimensional and make as much money as you can, regardless of how you make it. And then one day, when you have enough, whatever that means, or when you retire, you then give back. Equally, I don't want you to operate like that in your business. Those who claim business's sole purpose is profit or shareholder value maximization are a far more recent breed, and they neither represent the roots of business or its future. If that comment sparks your interest or feels like an outrageous notion, you may want to read Roger Martin's book, Fixing the Game, for a simple explanation where he goes so far as to say that our theories of shareholder value maximization and stock-based compensation have the ability to destroy our economy and rot out the core of American capitalism. I'm going to tease you and leave it at that, but please don't swallow at face value a profit maximization argument. That is not the purpose of business. It never has been, and it never will be. Business has a far more important role to play in society than that. You can be far more conscious of and intentional in your business, so that just by operating, you are making a positive impact in the world. Whether that is in the lives of your employees, the lives of your customers, the lives of the workers in your supply chain, or on the impact you have on the environment. Any type of donation you may or may not choose to make on top of that becomes a bonus. For those of you who aren't business owners, you can go through the same exercise, but instead of focusing on the decisions you have control over or the levers you can pull in a business, simply look at your life and again focus in on what you have control over. The reason this is such an important place to start is that if you fall into the trap of going first to big, complex issues, then expecting yourself to change those immediately at a systemic level, you are almost guaranteed to end up overwhelmed and risk feeling defeated and going back to feeling helpless and taking no action. Instead, if you begin to engage more with my 3 T's method of looking at your situation and examining where you already have a level of control, where you are already making decisions, where you are already putting your time, talent, and treasure to work in the world, you can begin to shift the dial through the very thing you can control, yourself. Can you see why clarity on what you care about and want to contribute towards is critical if you are to effectively use the 3 T's method? Once you are clear on that, you can do a really solid assessment on both your as-is or current state approach to the allocation or investment of your time, talent, and treasure. And more importantly, you can then intentionally design how you are going to put your time, talent, and treasure to work in the world moving forward, so that your decisions, your actions, and your contribution all line up and move you in the direction of creating the legacy you want to leave. Disconnected philanthropic giving, arm's length investments, and heartless business practices are not signs of the leader you want to be. It's time for you to be more conscious and intentional in the weaving together of a coherent strategy, logic, and set of behaviours that reflect your values and speak volumes about your character without you having to even defend or justify. Your decisions and your actions are speaking volumes already. How are you spending your time, talent, and treasure? And what does that say about you? I want you to sit with that. Feel that. If it makes you uncomfortable or simply doesn't yet excite you or reflect what you want for yourself and your legacy, then today is the beginning of you shifting into a both and mindset that uses the lens of the 3 T's method to ensure you leave the world better than you found it. The third and final step we'll look at today is one that will take more reflection and research outside of listening to this episode. But I want to plant it as a seed in your mind, and you can sit with it as you go through your day. This is the question. Do you already have the skills, experience, resources to contribute to this issue or area that you have identified? If not, who else do you need, or what do you need to learn or acquire in order to contribute in the ways you want to? As I said, this is a bigger question, but I do want you to begin to tune into who, whether they are individuals or organisations, who is already doing solid work in the areas you care about and getting results. You need to really look at and assess yourself and your organisation if you have one, and pinpoint the ways in which you are equipped and the areas where there are gaps. As you will have heard me say many times before, you are not and do not need to be the answer to every question or solution to every problem. You do need to understand what you want to be part of, though. Be clear on what you bring and seek out those who can partner with you to fill the gaps and together be more impactful. I suspect you are beginning to realize that these are massive concepts to explore, and to truly put them to work in your life takes time, reflection, and guidance. I've gone into far more detail in this episode than I intended, simply because I know from my work how important it is, and so I want to make sure you at least get a glimpse of its centrality and just how much this one shift in your mindset could be a game-changing lever in your life, work, and legacy. I haven't even scratched the surface, though. So if it stirred something in you and you know you need to dig in deeper and understand the particulars of what this looks like in your life, then please get in touch with me and let's explore if working together one-on-one would be a good fit. If you genuinely want to live an aligned life, grounded in your values, and leave a legacy you can be proud of that is both fulfilling for you and impactful for the world, then I can help you design and bring that to life. Working with me will be like working with a personal trainer at the gym. You have to do the work in order to get the results, growth, and transformation. But I can bring the tried and true methodology, strategies, and practices that can help unlock you and get you those results more effectively. What I can guarantee is that in working with me, you will be more impactful, you will feel more fulfilled, and you will certainly not be alone as you figure out the unique ways in which you can use your time, talent, and treasure to create a legacy so much bigger than yourself. In the next episode, we will wrap up this 3-part series by exploring the practice of looking ahead and the discipline to anticipate and run scenarios. Please join us again then and continue this incredibly important work you're doing to better understand yourself, Be conscious of the impact you're having on others and get clear on the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. It's in that space that opens up all the possibilities in the world for you to be truly impactful and fulfilled. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening to Both And with Bessi Graham. You know you were born to do something significant, so don't leave it to chance. Join me each week to pick up quick tips and ideas that will support you on your journey to live and lead a meaningful life. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show so that you never miss an episode, and leave us a review so that other people can find us and feel a little less lonely and a little more supported on their journey of leadership. If you haven't joined our Facebook group yet, you'll find the link in the episode notes. Please join us. Thank you so much for being a part of the community and for tuning into the show each week. See you next time. Cheers.